Hi everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to be showing you an easy way to chop up a vocal in Ableton Live and rearrange it. So here's the vocal sample I'll be using, and I'm running it through Valhalla Room on a very dense, long reverb tail setting. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is freeze and flatten this. In other words, I'm going to render it with the reverb on it. I'm going to do this before chopping up the sample. I feel like that results in a much more fun sample to play around with and manipulate. Next, I'm going to crop the sample because we'll be taking slices from it. So to an extent, the shorter the sample, the easier it is to manage. But we also want to make sure the sample is long enough that there's some interesting variety in there. Next, I'm going to pull up Simpler. I'm just going to drag the sample into Simpler. I'm going to set Simpler to slice mode and the slice by parameter to beat. So this will divide up the sample quite nicely for my purposes here. Now from here it's just a case of playing around on the piano roll, because each of these notes is now going to play a different part of the sample, and just finding out what sounds good. It's a bit quiet, so I'm just going to boost up the volume. And I find that there's usually a lot of different interesting loops I can create, and I usually just have to settle for one. But of course you can just save multiple different clips. Now, what I've decided to do in this case as well is actually duplicate this track. So one version is going to be pretty low-key, just background stuff, and the other one is going to take more of a melodic lead. And one thing you can do to immediately change up the slices you're getting is to warp the sample. So we can change the length of the sample here, or even the beat divisions, and that will give us different slicing locations. And so this version here is going to have more of a melodic influence over the track. Now by default the slicer goes into monophonic mode, but you can easily switch this to polyphonic. That'll allow you to create more complex and interesting, richer patterns as well. Now the really nice thing about doing this is simpler this way is that all the different slices remain part of the same sample with one set of parameters. So filter or random panning, for example, can all be done just from one area. I also quite enjoy the sound of setting one of these layers to mono while the other one is stereo. Makes a nice contrast. So to help with mixing, I'm going to group these two together now into one bus and basically process this as one sound. You've got to take away some of the low end here, some of the mud. And I'm going to put some sidechain compression on here. It's going to be pretty heavy, but also quite quick. I feel like vocal chopping like this can be a really quick and easy way to set up some ideas for a track. Alright, so as we're screen recording, I've pretty much maxed out my CPU headroom here, so I'm going to be calling it a day. Thank you very much for watching. Also, I do read the comments on my YouTube videos, so if you have ideas or suggestions, something you want to see in the future, just let me know. And thanks especially as well to everybody who has purchased my sound banks or is a Patreon supporter. Your support goes a long way. So take care and I'll see you in the next one. Supporter, your support goes a long way. So take care and I'll see you in the next one.